Hey there, baseball fans! Welcome back to another exciting video where we dive deep into the world of baseball. Today, we're taking a quirky trip through the sport we love by exploring some of the strangest players to ever grace the diamond. From bizarre superstitions to peculiar personalities, these players are anything but ordinary. So, buckle up and let's get weird. First up, let's talk about a man who might have been more bird than ball player. Mark the Bird Fidrych. Standing at 6'3" with curly blonde hair, Fidrych looked every bit like a character from a children's storybook. But it wasn't just his appearance that made him unique, it was what he did on the mound that made everyone stop and stare. Fidrych had a habit of talking to the baseball as if it were alive. He'd crouch down, almost as if he was sharing a secret with the ball, giving it gentle pats as if coaxing it into performing better. It was like watching a quirky magician preparing his next trick. But the peculiarities didn't stop there. Fidrych would groom the mound with his bare hands between pitches, making sure everything was just right. He refused to step on the foul lines, hopping over them as though they were cursed. It was this combination of eccentric rituals that made every game he pitched an experience. Fans didn't just come to watch a baseball game, they came to watch the Mark Fidrych show. And here's the kicker. His antics weren't just for show. In 1976, Fidrych took the baseball world by storm, winning 19 games with a dazzling 2.34 ERA. His unorthodox approach to the game brought an infectious energy to the field, making him a favorite among fans and players alike. He didn't just pitch, he entertained, creating a connection with the crowd that few players ever achieve. Fidrych's career was cut short by injuries, but his unforgettable rookie season remains one of the most captivating in baseball history.
On the mound, are you talking only to the baseball? Really not, Mark?
No, I'm keeping my mind in the game. I might look at the ball, but I'm just keeping my mind in the game, saying, if I get the ball, where am I going to go with it, or, what's going to happen, where should I throw this ball this time, and tell myself where to release the ball.
Next, we dive into the bizarre world of Turk Wendell, a relief pitcher who took Superstitions to a whole new level. Wendell wasn't just another player with quirks. He was practically a walking encyclopedia of them. If there was a strange ritual to follow, Wendell had it covered. Let's start with dental hygiene. Wendell would brush his teeth between every inning. That's right, every single inning. You could argue that he had the freshest breath in the bullpen, but it was his way of staying mentally sharp. Then there was his affinity for black licorice, which he chewed on the mound as if it were the key to his success. And after each out, he'd wave to his center fielder, a quick gesture that signaled a bond, a silent nod of mutual respect and understanding. But Wendell's quirks didn't stop with his diet. He was notorious for leaping over the foul lines, a tradition that harkened back to Mark Fidrych, but with Wendell's own flair. And if you think that's odd, he also wore a necklace made from the teeth and claws of animals he had hunted himself. This wasn't just a piece of jewelry. It was a talisman, a constant reminder of the wild and untamed spirit he brought to the game. What makes Wendell so fascinating isn't just his quirks, but the fact that he was an effective pitcher despite, or perhaps because of, his rituals. He spent 11 seasons in the majors, known for his intensity on the mound and his absolute refusal to conform to the norms. Wendell's idiosyncrasies made him a fan favorite, but they also showcased the unique mental game that some athletes play to keep their edge.
Truth is, I made it to the big leagues not because of my fastball, curve, or my slider, and it wasn't because I leaped over the foul line or waved to the outfielders. My real secret is honey.
Now let's travel back to the early 1900s, to a time when baseball was still finding its identity, and meet Rube Waddell, a man whose behavior was as unpredictable as his pitching. Waddell was a left-handed pitcher who, on any given day, could be the best player in the world or a complete disaster, depending on what distracted him that day. Waddell had an insatiable curiosity for just about everything, except perhaps the game he was playing. He was fascinated by fire trucks and would abandon a game to chase after one if it passed by the stadium. Imagine being a manager and watching your star pitcher sprint off the field mid-game chasing after a fire engine. But it wasn't just fire trucks. Waddell was equally mesmerized by puppies, and opposing fans quickly learned that holding up a cute pup could completely throw him off his game. Despite these distractions, Waddell was incredibly talented. He led the American League in strikeouts for 6 consecutive seasons, a feat that seems almost impossible given his unpredictable nature. But his personal life was a mess. Waddell struggled with alcohol, which often led to erratic behavior that would make modern-day sports psychologists cringe. He'd spend his night brawling in bars and his days dominating hitters, all while maintaining a childlike fascination with the world around him. Rube Waddell was a true character in every sense of the word. His antics off the field were often as entertaining as his performances on it. Though his career was short-lived and chaotic, Waddell's story is a reminder that sometimes the most talented people are also the most complicated. Alright folks, buckle up because this next story is one of the wildest in baseball history. We're talking about Doc Ellis, the Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher who threw a no-hitter while tripping on LSD. This isn't just a baseball tale. It's the kind of story that transcends sports and dives into the realm of unbelievable. On June 12, 1970, Ellis woke up under the influence of LSD, fully convinced that he wasn't scheduled to pitch that day. By the time he realized he was mistaken, it was too late. The drug was still in full effect. But instead of calling in sick, Ellis did the unthinkable. He took the mound and pitched a no-hitter, one of the rarest feats in baseball. Ellis later described the experience as surreal, claiming that the ball felt like it was in slow motion, and at times, he couldn't even see the batter. He walked 8 players and hit another, but no one managed to get a hit off of him. The fact that Ellis even managed to stand up, let alone pitch a complete game, is astonishing. But what's more incredible is that he was successful, carving out a place for himself in baseball lore with a performance that was as improbable as it was unforgettable. Doc Ellis's no-hitter wasn't just a game, it was a statement.
What's going to happen when you have drugs on the field? I threw to hit him. I threw to hurt him bad.
It challenged the norms of what athletes could and couldn't do, and it highlighted the thin line between genius and madness. Ellis's career was full of highs and lows, but this one game, this one unrepeatable moment, ensured that he would be remembered as one of the most enigmatic figures in baseball history. Next up is Bill Spaceman Lee, a man who was as well known for his opinions and antics as he was for his pitching. Lee was a left-handed pitcher who played with a kind of carefree spirit that often bordered on the absurd. But don't let his laid-back demeanor fool you. He was as competitive as they come. Lee earned the nickname Spaceman not because he was out of this world on the mound, but because of his unconventional views on just about everything. Whether he was discussing politics, space travel, or the benefits of a good breakfast, Lee always had something to say that would make you stop and think. Or laugh out loud. But his eccentricity wasn't just limited to his off-field comments. On the mound, Lee was known for throwing a pitch he called the Leafus, a slow, looping curveball that seemed to defy the laws of physics. It was a pitch that looked easy to hit, but baffled even the best hitters. And then there was his warm-up routine, where he would toss the ball as high as possible to simulate a lunar orbit. Yes, you heard that right. Bill Lee was playing baseball in his own little universe. Lee's quirks didn't just make him a fan favorite. They also got him into trouble with management. He once claimed to have sprinkled marijuana on his pancakes to help his performance, and he was never shy about voicing his opinions, no matter how controversial they might be. His willingness to challenge authority and speak his mind made him both loved and loathed. But one thing's for sure, no one could ignore him. Despite all his antics, Bill Lee was a skilled pitcher, earning an All-Star selection and helping the Boston Red Sox reach the 1975 World Series. His ability to mix humor with a fierce competitive spirit made him a unique figure in baseball, a player who played the game his way, no matter what anyone else thought.
I'm just glad that we went on strike before the air traffic controllers, or Reagan would have fired us too.
Now let's talk about Jimmy Pearsall, an outfielder whose antics on the field often overshadowed his considerable talent. Pearsall was a player who did things his own way, and sometimes that way was downright bizarre. The most famous of Pearsall's antics occurred in 1963 when he hit his 100th career home run and celebrated by running the bases backward. Yep, you heard that right. He started at home plate and ran to third base first, then second, then first, all while smiling and waving to the bewildered crowd. It was a move that perfectly encapsulated Pearsall's approach to the game. Unpredictable, entertaining, and completely unconventional. But Pearsall's eccentric behavior wasn't just for show. It was also a reflection of his struggles with mental illness, something he battled throughout his career. Pearsall's life was chronicled in the movie Fear Strikes Out, which detailed his fight with bipolar disorder and the pressures of being a professional athlete. Despite these challenges, Pearsall managed to carve out a successful career, earning 2 All-Star selections and winning 2 Gold Gloves as one of the best defensive outfielders of his era. Pearsall's story is a reminder that behind every eccentricity, there's often a deeper struggle. His antics may have been strange, but they were also a way for him to cope with the pressures of the game and life. Pearsall didn't just play baseball, he lived it, in all its highs and lows. And he left a mark on the game that is as unique as he was.
It'll take a great deal of burden off me, and I won't be throwing any chairs upstairs and running out after officials on the field because I'll be a little more relaxed and a little more rested.
And finally, we come to Manny Ramirez, one of the most talented and eccentric players to ever grace a baseball field. Manny being Manny became a catchphrase during his career, capturing the essence of a player who was as unpredictable as he was gifted. Ramirez was known for his incredible hitting ability. 555 career home runs, a .312 lifetime batting average, and countless clutch performances. But it was his behavior off the field, and sometimes on it, that made him a true character in the game. Whether it was disappearing into the green monster during a game, high-fiving a fan in the middle of a catch, or cutting off a relay throw from the outfield while he was also in the outfield, Manny was always full of surprises. One of the most memorable Manny moments came during a game at Fenway Park when he inexplicably disappeared into the green monster during a pitching change. No one knew where he went or why, but when he re-emerged, it was as if nothing had happened. It was just Manny being Manny, doing things his way, even if no one else understood it. But for all his quirks, Ramirez was a clutch performer. He thrived in the biggest moments, helping lead the Boston Red Sox to 2 World Series championships. His antics may have been strange, but they never overshadowed his incredible talent. Manny Ramirez was a player who played with joy, who never took himself too seriously, and who always kept fans guessing. He wasn't just a great hitter, he was a great entertainer, a player who brought a sense of fun and unpredictability to the game.
Playing against the Yankees was going to be tough, but racing boys, it's something different.
And there you have it, folks, some of the strangest players in baseball history. From talking to baseballs to throwing no-hitters on LSD, these players prove that baseball isn't just a game. It's a place where personalities of all kinds can shine. Whether they were pranksters, eccentrics, or just plain weird, these players left their unique stamp on the game, making baseball a richer, more colorful sport. If you enjoyed this deep dive into baseball's oddest characters, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of Baseball Spark. Drop a comment below and let us know which strange player is your favorite, or if there's someone we missed. We'll catch you in the next inning.